And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza. And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time on Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide. I also broadcast on Roar 1776 Radio and on Live 365 Radio every Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day simply by clicking on that icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com, and you can call into my show if you want to just comment or engage me in conversation about anything. You can call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, in today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails, just like I always do. Today, my expert contributor is Suzette Mailer with her series, The IFAB Travel Corner, and my special guest today is Sean LaFave, talking healthcare on his series, Geared for Wellness. But I want you to know that right now, at 4:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 84 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's down from 87 degrees, and hopefully it's going to keep going down. At least we certainly hope so at this point. But you know what? I think it's time for us to talk about the news. So let's get into that and start talking about the news. Why not? Well, you know what? Greece gets until Sunday for proposals to stave off a collapse. You know, frustrated and angered Eurozone leaders gave Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras a last-minute chance today to finally come up with a viable proposal on how to save his country from financial ruin. Overcoming their surprise when Tsipras failed to present them with a detailed plan, the leaders reluctantly agreed to a final summit Sunday, saying that could give both sides an opportunity to stave off collapse of the struggling but defiant member nation. Underscoring the gravity of the challenge, European Union President Donald Tusk decided to call the 28 European Union leaders to Brussels instead of only the 19 Eurozone members because, for the bloc, it is maybe the most critical moment in their history. Now, French President François Hollande agreed it's not just the problem of Greece. It's the future of the European Union that's at stake, he said. In highlighting the rising anger with Tsipras over months of foot-dragging and surprising negotiation twists, European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker had a stark warning for Greece. We have a Grexit scenario prepared in detail, he said, referring to the situation in which Greece would have to exit the currency union. With Greece's banks just days away from a potential collapse that could drag the country out of the euro, Tsipras arrived with only vague proposals and a commitment to back it up with real figures and a more detailed plan by Thursday. You know what? Time will tell. Greece has really got some large cojones, let's just call it that way, when you think in terms of what they're doing. Boy, I'll tell you what, they're playing with economic disaster here, and they're playing hardball. It looks like they're going to want the European Union to forgive $33 billion of their debt, you know, and then give them exceptional terms on the balance, you know, and you know what the terms on this austerity program that the European Union wants, they're talking about increasing the tax on the population of Greece and being more austere when they're spending money as a government. But the real problem in Greece is that 89% of its citizens are not paying the tax that they owe. So maybe what they need to do is get in there and start collecting taxes. That might solve their problem. Well, up next, in 27 minutes ago, the Pope presses environment message in a biodiverse Ecuador. Pope Francis challenged Latin America's youth to take up his environmental protection campaign today, saying the defense of God's creation isn't just a recommendation, but a requirement. Francis' appeal, delivered at Quito's Catholic University, is particularly relevant for Ecuador, a Pacific nation that is home to one of the world's most species-diverse ecosystems in the Galapagos Islands and Amazon rainforest, but is also an OPEC country heavily dependent on oil extraction. Francis told students and professors that God gave humanity the earth to not only cultivate, but to care for, a message he framed earlier this month in his headline-grabbing encyclical on the environment. It is no longer a mere recommendation, but rather a requirement because of the harm we have inflicted on it by our irresponsible use and abuse of the goods with which God has endowed us, he said. He challenged universities to ensure that students' educations are not aimed only at profitable careers, but at helping the poor and the environment. There's a relationship between our life and that of Mother Earth, between the way we live and the gift that we have received from God, he said. Francis's environmental message has been cheered by indigenous groups who have complained of being increasingly marginalized by Ecuadorian President Rafael Correa as he pushes mining and oil drilling in the Amazon. That push coupled with high crude prices allowed Correa to lift 1.3 million people out of poverty in his 8 years in office. Well, Francis has called for environmental responsible development, one that is aimed at helping the poor without sacrificing the planet. Let's see how much influence the Pope has in Ecuador. We'll see, right? He's sure done a lot of other things that have been phenomenal for our world. How about this? The National Transportation Safety Board says that 2 killed when an F-16 small plane crash and jet pilot are actually safe. So here's the thing. The F-16 fighter jet smashed into a small plane Tuesday or today over South Carolina, killing 2 people and raining down plane parts and debris over a wide swath of marshes and rice fields. The 2 people aboard the smaller Cessna were killed, and the plane was completely destroyed, National Transportation Safety Board spokesman Peter Knutson said. The pilot of the F-16 ejected and is apparently uninjured, he said. A press release from Shaw Air Force Base in Sumter said the pilot, Major Aaron Johnson from the 55th Fighter Squadron, was taken to Joint Base Charleston's medical clinic for observation. The fighter jet crash-landed into woods around the privately owned Lewisfield Plantation, an estate dating back to 1750. We heard the plane crash, and then we took off from where I was at, I guess I was about a half mile from it, when we saw a cloud of smoke, said Leo Ramsey, who's worked at the plantation for about 30 years. You know what? What a shame. Just a shame. Now, don't go away, because boy, have we got news for you. Yep, it's all about Cosby accusers claim vindication. Friends reserve judgment. I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. You know, and right now we want to get right back into the news, and so let's do exactly that. What I promised you was Cosby accusers claim vindication, and friends, reserve judgment. While many of Bill Cosby's accusers feel vindicated by his decade-old admission that he gave at least one woman quaaludes before sex, some of his Hollywood friends are reserving judgment, saying the testimony doesn't prove he committed a crime. The testimony, unsealed Monday by a federal judge, reignited the furor that erupted last year when dozens of women came forward to accuse the comedian of sexual assault over the past 4 decades. Many said Cosby drugged and raped them. I never thought I would be vindicated or validated in this, said Joan Tarshis of Woodstock, New York, who accused Cosby of drugging and attacking her when she was breaking into comedy writing in 1969. I mean, it's turned my life around 180 because now all the people that haven't believed me or us have come out, most of them, and said, we were wrong. The testimony came from a deposition in 2005 sexual abuse lawsuit brought against Cosby by a former Temple University basketball team employee, Andrea Constant. The case was settled on confidential terms, but it was the first in a torrent of lawsuits that have shattered Cosby's good guy image as wise and understanding Dr. Cliff Huxtable on The Cosby Show in 1980s and 1990s. You know, I'm not going to get any more into that. I don't want to give him any more publicity than what he's already getting. Where there's smoke, there's fire. You got to start believing that there's just too many women coming out, and now with this information coming from court records, you know what? It's pretty hard to say he didn't do this. Now, is he going to get punished? Probably not, because it'd be on the statute of limitations. And the other issue is that I find it ironic. Matter of fact, I find it almost unbelievable. With all of this proof and all of these allegations, I shouldn't say proof, but I should say allegations at least, and I have already said where there's smoke, there's fire, that he's still filling theaters. People are going to see him. I just don't get it. Well, here's something in 2 hours ago. Subway suspends ties with spokesman Fogel after raid at home. FBI agents and Indiana State Police raided the home of Subway restaurant spokesman Jared Fogel today, removing electronics from the property and searching the house with a police dog 2 months after the then executive director of Fogel's Foundation was arrested on child pornography charges. Now, you remember who Fogel is, right? He's the guy that lost that 200 pounds on Subway sandwiches and became the national spokesman for him. That's kind of what we're talking about here. You know, the FBI agent Wendy Osborne said the agency was conducting an investigation in Zionsville, an affluent Indianapolis suburb, but wouldn't say whether it involved Fogel or describe the nature of the investigation. Subway said in a statement that it is very concerned about the raid, which it believes is related to a prior investigation of a former employee of the Jared Foundation, an organization founded by Fogel to raise awareness about childhood obesity. Subway did not immediately say whether the employee was former Foundation Executive Director Russell Taylor. The company had removed references to Fogel from its website by late afternoon and issued another statement saying the two have mutually agreed to suspend their relationship due to the current investigation. You know what? Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire. Doesn't mean that Fogel is guilty of anything. At least they haven't found anything yet, so we'll see what has to go. How about this? The latest, the Pope urges Latin American youth to save the planet. Well, you know what? I already told you about that. I'm not going to do that again. Let's try this one. Senators quiz military chiefs criticize the U.S. fight against the Islamic State. Facing blistering criticism from Republican senators, Defense Secretary Ash Carter acknowledged today that the United States has only 60 trainees in a program to prepare and arm thousands of moderate Syrian rebels in the fight against Islamic State militants. That is a small class, Carter told the Senate Armed Services Committee. This is the number that got through a very vigorous vetting and selection process that we have. We expect that number to improve. Senator John McCain, chairman of the committee and a persistent critic of Obama's foreign policy, wasn't convinced. I got to tell you that after 4 years, Mr. Secretary, that is not an impressive number, McCain, the Republican from Arizona, said in one of several testy exchanges with Carter and General Martin Dempsey, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So far, Congress has approved $500 million to train Free Syria Army fighters. The Associated Press reported last month that the number of trainees involved in the program at bases in Jordan and Turkey had dropped below 100, with dozens of recruits fleeing the program. Go figure, right? At the hearing, Carter agreed that 60 was not a significant number, but said there were 7,000 prospective recruits in the pipeline. The U.S. goal is to train and equip 5,400 rebels a year for 3 years. Well, you know, best plans, right? Best laid plans? Probably going to fail. Well, South Carolina Senate gives a final okay to the Confederate flag removal. The South Carolina Senate gave its final approval today to removing the Confederate flag from the Capitol grounds, but across the hall in the House, Republicans quietly sought a way to make a last stand to preserve some kind of symbol honoring their Southern ancestors at the State House. The House was scheduled to begin debate tomorrow on the bill to take down the flag and its pole and send the banner to the state's Confederate Relic Room. Governor Nikki Haley and business leaders support the proposal. To stress the chamber's unity after today's 36-3 vote, senators invited the widow of their slain colleague Clementa Pinckney to the floor. She stood just inside the door in a black dress, only a few feet from her husband's desk, which was draped in black cloth with a single white rose on the top. Every member stood as she entered and later walked up to her, offering condolences. After the flag was pulled off the State House dome 15 years ago, it was called a settled issue. The banner was instead moved to a monument honoring Confederate soldiers elsewhere on the Capitol grounds. But the flag debate swiftly gained urgency last month after Pinckney and 8 other black people were fatally shot at a historic African-American church in Charleston. A white gunman, who police said was motivated by racial hatred, is charged in that attack. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, you guessed it, it's the IRS loses. In the first case, a minimal discrepancy does not justify refusal of an installment agreement. And I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. And you know what, let's not waste any time, let's just get right to it. First case up is a minimal discrepancy does not justify the refusal of an installment agreement. Let me tell you about it. Omar Pineda owned a small business and fell behind on his taxes. When the IRS moved to levy his assets, he requested an installment agreement. An IRS appeals officer required him to file a full statement of business and personal finances to prove that he was compliant with the law and eligible for one, then found a $175 discrepancy between his accounting and Pineda's tax return, and then rejected the agreement. So Pineda went off to tax court. This is what the judge had to say about it. The $175 was de minimis. And at trial, the appeals officer couldn't even say what information he wanted to fix the error. So the IRS had abused its discretion in not considering the agreement, and Mr. Pineda gets his installment agreement. I mean, you got to love this stuff, right? That's exactly the way it should be. Absolutely no question about it. That's the way it should be. How about this? The IRS loses. Hiring a spouse makes medical costs tax-free. You know, Maureen Speltz operated a licensed daycare center in her home as a proprietorship. Now, her husband, Peter, worked full-time as a machinist from 6 a.m. to 2:15 p.m., then came home and assisted her in the center. She hired him as an employee, giving him an employment contract that included medical benefits. She deducted the benefits that she paid to him, and he took them tax-free. But the IRS objected that the arrangement was a sham. They went to tax court. Yep, here's what the judge said. Maureen had a real business. The employment contract terms were reasonable, and Peter lived up to them doing real work that was documented. And the benefit plan met written requirements, so the tax-free benefit was proper and allowed by the court. Now, you know what? I mean, you just got to love this stuff, right? You just got to love this. Let me give you one more. The IRS loses. Erroneous private ruling can be relied upon. Let me tell you about it. In 1981, a company obtained IRS approval of its method of computing deductible contributions to its qualified retirement plan in an IRS technical advice memorandum. But in 1996 and 1997, court cases involving other companies held the method to be illegal. Now, in 2005, IRS examiners asked if the company's deductions taken after the date of the court rulings could be disallowed. The IRS holding? The cases involved other taxpayers and were appealable. The specific IRS approval obtained by the company of its actions protects all of its deductions claimed until the approval is revoked, which is now on an ongoing basis forward, but not the past stuff. Now, you got to love that, right? You just got to love that stuff. Now, don't go away because guess what's coming up next? Yeah, wouldn't you like to be a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff? Boy, I'll tell you I would. And here's the thing about it. These are not tax court cases that have taken place. These are precedents that the IRS has set out publicly, opinions and decisions that they've made. So let's start off with this one. When a routine audit turns into a criminal investigation, now get this, it's not unusual for a revenue agent to uncover criminal conduct that's intent to evade tax during a routine audit. Now, for instance, personal expenses may have been claimed as business expenses, or income may not have been reported because the checks were negotiated by a check cashing service and were not entered into the gross income on the tax return. How do you protect yourself? Do not let the accountant who prepared your tax return get involved in your audit. Why? Because he or she may ultimately become a witness against you if there's a criminal trial. Also, the accountant may incriminate you during the course of the examination. Now, my client told me that the personal expenses should be claimed as a business expense. Yep, they're going to protect themselves. If someone commits tax fraud, he should hire an experienced criminal tax attorney to handle the audit, starting with that very first phone call. Call that revenue agent. That's exactly what you need to do. Don't mess around. Just get help now. The IRS, well, I pick on one all the time. And I think if they could get a real job, they wouldn't be working for the IRS. They're far from stupid, folks. They've been around a long time. They've seen it all, done it all, and they'll continue to do it all as long as you don't know how to defend yourself. That's why you need a professional. Let's try this. The IRS is delaying refunds for international filers. Non-residents filing Form 1040-NR, that's non-resident, can expect to wait for their refunds relating to their last tax returns. These tax returns are now being processed in Dallas instead of Philadelphia, where they had been processed for years. Now, calling the IRS and asking about the status of your refund is virtually useless, since many of these tax returns have not even been posted on its computer system. What do? If the IRS doesn't have a record of your tax return, send it another signed copy, together with a cover letter explaining that you were informed that there is no record of the first return that you filed. Send the return by certified mail, return receipt requested. Ask your accountant to mail the tax return on your behalf if you're located outside of the country. Try to get the name of the person that you can address your letter to. Your best bet? Follow up every 2 weeks and try to get a manager to take an interest in your case. That's the best way that you're going to go. Now, for gosh sakes, you don't want to go away now. Let me tell you why. He's waiting in the wings. We're talking about our own Sean Lefebvre talking about health care in his Geared for Wellness Corner. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Sean Lefebvre. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:33 p.m. Pacific Time. Currently 84 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, that's down from 87 on his way to 60. I can't wait for the 60 part of it. But you know what? I'll tell you something else I can't wait for. He is waiting in the wings. I know he's got good stuff for us. He does all the time. So let's get him in here. Let me introduce him the right way. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from his personal meditation lounge in Orange County, California, a professional dedicated to conquering many chronic conditions from autism to weight loss and everything in between. The nationally recognized wellness coach, consultant, and lecturer, Sean Lefebvre, in his Geared for Wellness Corner. Hey, Sean, welcome aboard. Good to have you here, my friend. I've been missing you. I can't hardly wait for what you're going to be talking about today. Are we going to be talking about travel, or are we going to be talking about health care?
Oh, wow, Robert. I love I wasn't prepared to talk about travel, but it's
Okay, you need to get a little you need to get a little closer to your microphone there, buddy. I can't hardly hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
It's a little bit better.
How's that? Is that it?
Oh, that's much better. Thank you.
Robert?
Yeah, I hear you. You there, Sean?
Yeah, how's that?
That's much better. Thank you.
All right, sorry about that. You know, these loose connections. I got a couple screws loose, but I was hoping they were just
I've been
my
accused.
microphone. I'm not quite sure. But now there's a helicopter going by. I just need to, there's a lot of people who would probably agree with this statement. Maybe I just need to get in a nice padded room and do my calls from there.
Well, I've been accused of having a screw loose too, so don't feel bad about it.
So travel, I could talk about travel for an entire show with no problem.
Well, I know I could too, except that our next guest is going to do exactly that, talk about travel. So we don't want to over travel everybody.
All right, well then we'll talk about health then.
Now
I'm prepared for that one.
Now that makes sense.
All right, so we've been talking, for a couple weeks now about just kind of this lifestyle that we've created in our country, and how we've really come to become this nation of medicated people, and we use medication not to overcome conditions so much anymore is what I think really was the intent of certain medications, but we use them now to live a certain lifestyle, to keep our blood pressure down because we don't want to change our activity level or our diets, or we want to lower our cholesterol with statins and all these. In fact, I just read an article. Actually, I can't say I read the article. I skimmed through the article real quick because it was kind of one of those things that I went, yep, I've seen this a million times. But I think it said that there have been 237 deaths directly associated with the use of statins. And the funny thing is there's no real connection between statins and lowered cardiovascular disease.
Well, Sean, let me interrupt you for a second. Now, when you say there were a number of deaths that statins have been attributed to statins, is that because people were allergic to the statins and it became a catastrophe for them, or was there some other reason? Is it more than just an allergic reaction to statins?
I imagine that's part of it. Is someone just there, no matter what the drug is, there are going to be some people that when you give it to them, they're going to have a massive reaction to it, and so that's certainly part of it. But other parts of it is, all drugs come with certain side effects. Like I said last week, that all drugs are created to suppress some part of your body, whether it's to reduce the inflammation which your body naturally wants to do, or to reduce the cholesterol that your body naturally wants to produce, or whatever the case, the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, they inhibit that. And so when a drug inhibits a natural process of the body, there's always going to be side effects. And for some people, it's going to be much worse than others. And I'm sure that some of the cases are people who already have health conditions. Some people, maybe it was combined with other drugs. But in all of these cases, they're saying that the statin at some level was directly involved with this patient's death. And you can watch literally these commercials for all these different medications, and they list off, if it's a 1 minute commercial, it's 15 seconds of how awesome your life's going to be, and then 45 seconds of all the side effects of it, and many times things like death are included, as a side effect, and we know that people do die from medication, and so whether it's an allergic reaction or if it's just that the body maybe shut down, like acetaminophen, for instance, is a really, really big one, which is what we find in Tylenol, is directly related to liver failure. So, these statins, any type of drug is going to affect your liver and your kidneys. And so if it contributes to maybe a condition that was already exacerbated.
Okay, so then that brings up another question, Sean, and that is so the way that now statins are used to lower cholesterol, and if you're taking statins, it's having an adverse effect on your liver. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm not saying that it does, in fact, do that because I don't know for sure. But I'm saying that it could possibly be that it's something. Well, I shouldn't say I'm not saying it doesn't. Mm-hmm. All medications have to be filtered at some level, so they are going to affect the liver. They are going to affect the kidneys. And so whether it's a tiny amount or it's a significant amount, like acetaminophen, we know is very strongly associated with liver failure. That, it's just one more thing that's tasking it. But I'm not saying that that's what they're saying that the statins have done is created liver failure. I'm saying that it's possible that may be one of the many things that could cause.
I got you. So we're theorizing.
Yeah, I'm theorizing on that one. Yeah, I'm not saying that that's actually anything that I've read or that I know for sure. But that's theory. But again, the drugs are, again, they're reducing cholesterol, which we know the body's producing cholesterol because it's trying to fight inflammation. And so inflammatory response to anything, and even drugs themselves will create inflammation because they are a chemical. And so when the body's stuck in this state of inflammation, it's going to create other problems. Heart disease is a direct result of inflammation, as is diabetes and weight gain. And in fact, that's kind of what we were talking about. That's where we led to, was the medications, and then really living with this chronic state of inflammation and how to reduce that. And I know that the statins, and I believe that people, the doctors especially who are prescribing these, are hoping that they're doing a good thing by reducing the cholesterol. But what they're doing, in fact, is they're ignoring the root cause of what's going on. Why is the body producing so much cholesterol? And if there's something going on that's causing the body to produce so much cholesterol to reduce the inflammation, well, maybe that root cause, that root problem, is also creating another problem, and that's why, boom, this person takes this medication and now they're dead, and because the root problem was never taken care of in the beginning.
But if they died from that, then they no longer have a cholesterol problem and no longer have an inflammation problem, right?
Drug worked, exactly. Exactly. That people don't have any health conditions at all. So yeah, the drug, it was 100% effective in that case.
We've all heard that saying. We've all heard that saying, Sean. The operation was a success, but the patient died.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. And unfortunately, it's crazy because the medical world is one of those worlds that you could go in, you could take a person who's perfectly healthy. Well, let me rephrase that. They're not perfectly healthy because they're going in for surgery, but it might be something as I've seen stories of women who have died from getting a liposuction. Something that's not supposed to be life-threatening. People go in. In fact, I read a story years ago about a woman who went into the hospital to have a baby, and ended up getting, I think it was MRSA. I can't remember exactly which one of those ones, but I think it was MRSA. They caught it so late they had to amputate both of her legs and both of her arms, and she got it as a direct result of being in the hospital. And so obviously this is a woman who was healthy, but she didn't go in there for a medical condition. She went in there to deliver a baby. You can go into a hospital for a surgery for something that is supposed to be not life-threatening or very considered a minor surgery, and all of a sudden someone's dead. And there's no I don't want to say there's no real accountability, but there's no one to blame, because you go, well, it's just part of the system.
It's an acceptable failure rate, right?
Right. Yeah. So there are acceptable losses, just like being in a war. We know that we send our men off to war, and now men and women off to war, and we know that so many of them could possibly come back in a casket, and unfortunately, whether we get upset about it or not, we still know the underlying, premise there is that that's an acceptable loss because things need to be done. And so it's an interesting way of life that we've created, with, drugs, give drugs. When those don't work, then we go into surgery, and people are going to lose body parts, and people are going to die, and people are going to have complications that lead to a lifetime of even greater problems. Maybe the surgery caused a nerve was clipped or something like that, and now the person has no sensation in an arm or a leg or whatever. So when people get paralyzed, things. I mean, in fact, you can hear about stories of people who go in to have a hip replacement or a knee replacement, and the doctor goes in and replaces the wrong knee or the wrong hip. Now they got to go in and do the second one or the right one.
Now that you mention that, I've heard of people that have had to go in and get a hip replacement or something major like that, and they were, let's just say they were in their sunset years, and they developed pneumonia and died, and it was all as a result of this surgery. Is there some point where you get to be a certain age and maybe you just shouldn't take these aggressive modalities for health?
Yeah, I think it's not so much an age thing, and people will say all the time, when you as you get older, this will happen, and you're going to eventually need glasses, or you're going to whatever, you're just going to gain weight, and it's just a natural accepted part of getting older. But really, it's not an age thing. That's like I had someone earlier today. I was talking to someone, and we saw something, and it was a little sign, and I read whatever the sign. And this woman was probably, I don't know, 20 years younger than me, maybe 15 to 20 years younger. And she looks and she goes, "You can read that?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And she goes, "Wow, that's amazing." She says, "I can't read that." And I'm like, "Well, I'm just really gifted. I've got good eyesight, but I'm 46 years old, and I was told, when I was in my 30s, I'll wait till you get in your 40s and you'll need glasses." And I hit my 40s, and everyone said, "Well, when you get 45, then you'll need glasses." And I'm like, "Well, I'm 46 right now, and I can still read signs farther away than most 20-year-olds because I'm just one of these people that just genetically has good eyesight." And so I've said a million times is it's not about your age, it's about your health level. We were talking last week, and it's really true. And I give you a hard time. I make jokes about your age and stuff, but when I found out that you just had your 70th birthday, I was actually really shocked. I did not realize that you were
an old son of a bitch.
But you're an old son of a bitch, man. You're 68 years old when I met you, and I would have guessed you were in your 50s. Because you're spry. You're lively. You're witty and you're quick. And I think that you're just one of these people you hadn't let age be an excuse to slow down at all. And I think that's what it is when with other people is, they go, "Well, I'm getting older, I should do this, I shouldn't do that." And I'm going, why not? I saw a video of a woman who was the oldest female bodybuilder, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. I just saw this video like 2 days ago or something like that. And man, I tell you, she was like 70-something years old, and oh my God, she looked fantastic. In her 70s, and I think so. When you ask, is there an age? No, there's not an age. There's a health level. If your immune system gets compromised, and those things come with health because of we stopped taking care of ourselves. So we'll pick back up with that when we come back from this break. I know we're getting ready to go, and then when we come back, we'll talk about what we got to do to take care of ourselves, to keep ourselves spry.
Now we're talking. We're going to talk about how to keep ourselves spry in those twilight years of your life, or maybe even before. So don't go away. We'll be right back with our own Sean LaFave and his Geared for Wellness group. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to my good buddy Sean Lefebvre in his Geared for Wellness Corner. Well, you know what? We've been talking about, the old days. I remember the old days when you used to talk about Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Well, that was a Kellogg cereal, right? And today, now, I'm 70 years old, and when I get up in the morning, that's what I'm hearing. Sean's going to tell us how to perhaps protect ourselves and not have to go through that. Sean, you've got the microphone.
All right. Well, it's there are certain things that and I'll back up a little bit. I talk about it's not that your age is going to determine your health level. It does to a certain point. Obviously women go through menopause. Men, our estrogen. Hopefully, our estrogen level doesn't change. Our testosterone level declines as we get older, and it's just kind of a slow decline. And certainly there are some processes that are going to slow down. But overall, the big picture of things, really, your body doesn't change a whole lot in the way it works. But what does change, what I think is the biggest factor, is the lifestyle that we live, whether it's something that we do intentionally or even without even really thinking about what we're doing, like the things that we eat, what we drink, if someone smokes, whatever the case might be, things you intentionally put in your body, whether you realize they're being harmful or not, those tend to bioaccumulate over time, and if they're toxic to your body's going to get worn down over time. It's going to get tired of constantly having to repair itself, and so things will definitely slow down. You'll get a little bit more tired, a little bit more weak. I got a guy just call me it was 3 days ago or 4 days, just before the 4th anyway, and he said, he goes, I've got to do something. My thyroid is shutting down, and my adrenal glands are shutting down, and so I'm just tired all the time. And I said, yeah, and it's this isn't something that should happen though. Your thyroid should work exactly the same whether you're 80 years old or 20 years old, and the same thing with your adrenal glands. But what happens is we go into, everyone heard the term adrenal failure, or we get hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism, and those things are typically induced by some sort of toxic exposure, whether it's poor diet or drinking too much or smoking or whatever the case might be, or it could be from environmental toxins, things like the air that we breathe that's here in Los Angeles area. It's just not clean. So we're just living in the LA area. Living in Southern California in general is going to be more toxic than living somewhere where they've got nice, crisp, clean, pristine air, like maybe Colorado Springs or something like that, which I'm sure it's probably got its problems now. It's so populated.
Okay, you're starting to whisper on me, buddy.
Oh, am I getting quiet?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I was telling a secret. I didn't want everyone else to know.
Well, so I'm not sure exactly what you just said, and so I'm going to repeat it for a minute because I don't think I heard you right. You didn't say that living in Los Angeles was no less toxic, the air, than living in a place where the air was crisp and clean. That's not what you said, is it?
I'm saying that living in Los Angeles, it's not as bad for you if you were living, say, Colorado Springs is not as bad for you as, say, living in Los Angeles as far as the toxic air that we breathe. Los Angeles is much worse. And so these things, whether it's the air that we breathe, I know that I don't want to beat the vaccine horse to death, but vaccines, if we've received those throughout our life, the flu vaccine and childhood vaccines, they do carry all these different toxins in them, whether it's aluminum or mercury or formaldehyde or whatever that's being injected into our body. If you've got amalgam fillings, the silver fillings in your mouth, those are loaded with mercury. They're half mercury, and mercury is a massive neurotoxin. Lead, you and I both grew up in the lead generation where we had lead-based paint and we had leaded gasoline. Lead was just...
How about asbestos?
Oh, yeah, and asbestos. Oh, my gosh, asbestos is just... that was one of those things that obviously it did a great job, but once we realized what we were doing to ourselves, thank God, that was I'm really grateful that our country, the government, finally went, whoa, this stuff is so bad, we need to outlaw it, which was great. Now, even if you have it in your house, if you're remodeling your house and you find asbestos, you're actually supposed to get an asbestos removal crew to come in to have it done. You're not supposed to remove it yourself, and if it's a contractor who's doing it, they can lose their license for removing it without using an asbestos removal specialist. So, that it is. It's a big deal. So we've got all these things that we've created in our environment that get in our body. And a little bit of exposure here, a little bit of exposure there, overall is not going to, you're not going to go into, adrenal failure, or you're not going to all of a sudden have heart problems or breathing problems or thyroid problems. But over time, it bioaccumulates. And so we really don't associate it. It might take you 20 years before you get to the point where all of a sudden, your organ function isn't working quite right. Or maybe we've had some slip and falls, or we got in an auto accident, or something that affected the spine, and now we've got a little bit of degeneration in the spine, so the nervous system isn't working the way it should, and so the organs don't work the way they should. And so we get these a little bit here, a little bit there, and we really don't associate any of these things, not one of them, directly related to our health condition, but they pile up. And so so we think to ourselves, what do I do? What am I doing wrong? How do I fix this? And well, of course, the answer is reverse that process, and it takes time. Everyone wants a quick fix. They want a magic pill, and it'd be wonderful if I had one. I wouldn't, I would. I'd probably still be doing this radio show, but I'd be doing it probably in something a lot more comfortable. It's the fix for what's going on in our country, why we're getting more and more of these chronic health conditions and more people are on drugs, is a slow fix. Unfortunately, it's not a quick fix, and it's simple things. I don't know if we were talking about this last week or not. A few years ago, I lost a bunch of weight, and I did it in 6 weeks. I lost almost 40 pounds. And I got down to my ideal weight.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. You don't really think I'm going to let you go through that fast? So in 6 weeks, you lost 40 pounds. What did you do? Stop eating?
Yeah. Well, I didn't completely stop eating, but what I did, and that's exactly, people ask me that when they would see me, they go, "Oh my gosh!" Now I was out of town. I was away from my personal environment, so that to me was a huge benefit. It gave me the advantage of not dealing with the distractions of being around friends and family who wanted to eat together and drink together. And so I was able to get on a very, very strict diet and a very strict exercise regimen and uphold those because I had nothing else that was pressing in my life except work 40 hours a week. And so I was gone for 6 weeks, and I decided this 6 weeks was going to be a turnaround time for me. And I cut out 100% sugars, 100% anything processed, 100% of grains. So all I ate was, and of course now when I said that, there's a lot of people going, well, what's left, I ate clean cuts of meat, I ate, and when I say clean, I don't mean fat-free. I mean clean as in, organic, grass-fed beef, organic chicken, those kind of things. I ate eggs because eggs are super good for you. Butter. A lot of vegetables. I ate some fruit in moderation, not a lot. And nuts, seeds, good high-fat foods like avocados. Avocados, man, I can just go to town on avocados. And so really, my caloric intake definitely dropped, but it didn't drop significantly. What changed was the composition of my diet. And it was really getting rid of all of those things that are pro-inflammatory.
Okay, so now I want to stop you for just a moment and move back just a hair and ask you about fruits. Is there something inherent about fruits that are bad for you?
No, fruit is not bad for you. The reason why I cut out fruit was I wanted to cut out sugar. And fruit, regardless of the health benefits and all the good nutritional value of eating fruit, there's still sugar, and that's just undeniable. There are certain people that I've had come in, they're trying to overcome weight loss resistance, or they're trying to overcome some sort of a chronic condition that I know is based in inflammation. Mm-hmm. And first thing we've got to do is reduce that inflammation and get their hormone receptors back in check. We cut out all sugars, and that includes fruit.
Now, didn't you tell me at one time, Sean, that there were some sugars that were good for you, and I thought that was actually the ones that came in fruit?
Yeah, there's obviously different forms of sugar. Fructose is what you find in your fruit. Uh-huh. You've got high fructose corn syrup, which is the problem with fructose, and this is even a problem with fruits. Is it's got to be processed through your liver first, and then if it does, and if you can't use it right away, if you don't need that energy expenditure, it gets turned into triglycerides, and then
so is what you're saying is that regular processed sugar is just not good for you at all, but fructose, it's not that it's good for you, it's just not as bad for you as the other sugars.
Well, actually, no, fructose, like say if it comes in the form of high fructose corn syrup, is actually worse for you than table sugar because it takes so much for your body to process it. And that's the same thing with there's a really popular kind of health sweetener out there. It's agave nectar that a lot of people like to use, mm-hmm. and it's very high in fructose, and it's worse than sugar for you, and maybe just a step down from high fructose corn syrup. They're saying now that this agave nectar that everyone thought was, the holy grail of sweeteners has really turned out to be not such a good idea. Mm. But the thing with the sugar, the fructose that you get at fruit is that it's blended with all of this great nutrition. You've got all of the digestive enzymes that go along with it. There's fiber in fruits, and so fruit has a lot of added benefits. Where when you eat sugar or you eat high fructose corn syrup, you're getting zero nutritional benefit and all of the insulin spike that goes along with eating sugar. You're still going to get an insulin spike, or you're still going to have to process the fructose through your liver when you eat a piece of fruit, but it also comes with a whole lot of other good stuff.
Sean, those people that get off of the proteins, get off the meats and get off the fats and get off the grains and all those things, and they go to this strictly a fruit diet, they're really not doing themselves any favors, are they?
It depends on, I would say, if I could only give one word answer to this, I would say no, they're not doing themselves any favors. But it depends on the person and how their body processes the sugar. If their expenditures are high enough and their body is able to also utilize the hormone called leptin, and they don't have any type of insulin resistance problems and those types of things, eating a lot of fruit is not a bad idea, but the body really needs, like I talked about last week, I think it was Friday, we talked about that, the need for cholesterol and saturated fats in our body is so high that to cut that out of your diet, it's why we're having so many hormonal problems in our countries, because they're showing that these low-fat diets just don't work in the long run. For some people, they can get away with it in the short run. I've done it in the past, and but I was also working out, 2 hours a day.
So
And,
basically,
lifting weights.
all this garbage about a balanced diet is no longer valid, huh?
Well, it depends on how you define balance, but
Well,
like a low-fat
the way
diet is
the way the
definitely
AMA defines balance is that you need to have proteins and grains and fats and sugars and all these things in moderation, and that's not necessarily accurate, is it?
that is definitely not accurate. Anything processed is processed to give it shelf life, and that's it. And it's not giving you any health benefits whatsoever.
Well, my friend, I look forward to talking to you again later on in the week, which on Friday, and maybe we can continue this conversation.
Yeah, Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. I'm sorry. I don't know where Friday came from. Friday came. I think Friday came right after Thursday. Anyway, I'm getting confused because you're my fill-in guy. Anyway, my buddy, this was a great show. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
And we'll continue on Thursday.
Sounds great. We've been talking to our own Sean Lefebvre and his Geared for Wellness group. Do not go away. We've got our IFAB travel corner coming up with our own Suzette Mailer. And you know what? We're both going to find out what's going on right after these brief messages. Don't go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And at 5:08 p.m. Pacific time, it's currently 84 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire. It's on its way to 60 degrees in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? She's waiting in the wings. I got to get her in here. She's going to be talking about it. You know what? Let's see if we can't just start this the right way. We want to bring in our own Suzette Mailer with her IFAB Travel Corner. And Welcome aboard.
Hi, Robert. Did you have a nice weekend?
I had a wonderful weekend. How about you?
Well, my family had Friday off for the 4th of July, so we made a last-minute decision to pack up the family car and drive to the Sequoia National Park. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Beautiful. Do you know I haven't been there since I was a young married man, but I just remember the absolute magnificent natural beauty of the Sequoias.
Oh, they are amazing. It is amazing. So, if you don't know this, it's located in the southern Sierra Nevada mountains in the state of California in the United States, of course. And it's just about a 4-hour drive north of Los Angeles, and we drove through Central California. I think it's the 99 or the 199. Do you know which one?
No,
I
it's
can't
the
remember
99.
where you did the driving.
No, it's the 99.
It was the 99, and it was 100 degrees. But at higher elevations, the temperature dropped to a pleasant 81 degrees, and the Sequoias are at an elevation between 5,500 and 9,000 feet. So you can't beat that. I thought I started regretting the trip until we went to the top of the mountains there, and it was very nice.
Now, did you actually stay in the park, or did you have to leave the park for accommodations?
We had, because it was a last-minute decision to go, there were no accommodations available. That's something you have to plan, I would think, 6 months in advance. And by the way, if you did want to stay someplace, I really recommend the John Muir Lodge. It doesn't have air conditioning, but you don't need it. It's rustic style rooms. The bed frames and chairs are made of tree branches. Very, very charming. And they, in the lodge main area, they have the big fireplace. I don't think you're using it in the summertime, and the food's pretty good. So,
and do they have fans in the rooms? If they don't have air conditioning, do they have fans?
I don't know, but bring your own fan just in case. You know what? You have a lot of fans anyway, Robert, and I'm not talking the kind that cool you off.
Well, thank you so much.
I'm one of your fans.
Oh, gee. Now you've got me blushing, but you can't tell, huh?
Hard to see that on radio.
So how long did it take you to drive up to the Sequoias? Now, I know you live in Long Beach, and so what were you talking about? We're talking about 4.5 hours to get up to the Sequoias?
I think about 4.5 hours to get up there. It's about 4 hours to get to the base of the mountain, and then 45 minutes to drive up. But it's beautiful. It's a forested belt with, and as you drive up, you see massive boulders jutting out of the top of the mountains, and all that against a big blue sky. The air smells so natural and clean and fresh and fragrant. It's really beautiful.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Suzette, but the Sequoias actually back up to Yosemite, doesn't it? Sequoia National Park actually backs right up against Yosemite National Park, doesn't it?
I don't know if it does. I really don't know that because we didn't go to Yosemite. We've been there, but I believe it does because John Muir, because of the John Muir story, the history and lore of John Muir. He did a lot of hiking through there, so you got me there. Ray would know that answer.
But you know what?
So
I'll
Atlas man.
He is a what's the word I want to say? He is just a resource of information, isn't he?
He is. He's amazing. Yeah.
So did he do all the driving, or did you relieve him on that 4.5-hour trip?
I didn't do any driving. He did all the driving.
And Anna Marie Annalisa actually slept all the way, right?
No, she enjoyed it. Through the driving the 99, of course, anybody would fall asleep. It's boring, but we did marvel at the amount of water in the aqueducts. It was filled with water. The lakes were filled with water where aqueducts were, stocking it. Ray said that they filled it up for the summer, but and boats were speeding along in the dammed up man-made lakes.
Mm-hmm.
So, Did you know that giant sequoias are the world's largest trees
I
and
did.
are among the oldest living things on Earth?
I did. They were,
Yeah,
when Jesus Christ walked on this earth, those sequoias were there.
Not only that, the oldest known giant sequoia is 3,500 years old.
Oh, I
And that's
didn't
based
realize
on
it was
a
that
ring
old.
count.
Yeah,
How about that?
yeah, that's amazing.
And the sequoia bark is spongy and fibrous and furrowed, and it can be 3 feet thick at the base of the trunk. And the presence of tannins in the bark of the redwood give it its cinnamon color, and that tannin is a natural defense against wildfire, decomposition, and infestation of certain insects.
Isn't that
But,
wonderful, considering what a natural resource that is? Can you
that's
imagine?
how it was able to. That's how it was able to live this long. And I think we should, as humans, start taking tannins. Maybe we can live that long.
Oh, I do. I take it in the form of red wine.
Oh, there you go. Hey. So let's see. Let's talk about the height. Giant sequoias grow to an average height of 164 feet to 279 feet, or for reference, about 13 stories to 23 stories high.
Wow.
How do you like that? It's pretty high. They're just so beautiful to be an ant and look up.
Now, as you're driving through the giant sequoias, do you see any wildlife, or pretty much just trees?
You do see wildlife. I regret to say I did not even see a bear, but there are American black bears and plenty of Douglas squirrels and
Deer?
other little critters.
Deer?
They might introduce bighorn sheep.
Oh.
You're talking about that.
Well, that's true, because that is pretty high. 9,000 feet, you said, right?
Yes, yeah. 5,500 to 9,000 feet high. So the giant sequoias grow, the record trees have been measured at 26 stories high, or 311 feet, and 56 feet in diameter. So, but the average tree is 20 to 26 feet in diameter. Can you imagine?
It's amazing.
Both are 26 feet wide.
When Marnie and I were young, and it was our first trip to Sequoia, they had a giant sequoia that you drove right through it. They paved right down the middle of it. It was done almost like a what do you call these hanger, or a washing pin, or the drying that you pin your laundry with, a laundry pin. And it looked like that, and you drove right through the sequoia. Now, since then, I've understand that it's actually been removed, that it started to deteriorate. But do they have anything like that now?
Well, they do. They have one where you can walk through it. In fact, I think, somebody used to live in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, there's some old black and white photos. That's part of the history of that region. Yeah, so, there's a little hike you can take and to walk through one that was fallen down.
So now
the horizontal.
Are there trails that you can hike on that are easy trails, as opposed to the ones that would kill most people in their twilight years?
There are, but we took a trail, and somebody said, well, they've been seeing bears there, and bears make me nervous.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Ray thinks he knows it all. Don't tell him I said that, and thinks he can handle a bear. He once took us on a hike, and we came back and found out, bears were in there, and it scared me. Where was this? Was it Yosemite? And Yellowstone. It was in Yellowstone, and we saw somebody driving with the top of his car pulled up because a bear. They put food in the car, and the bear pulled their car up. It looked like a brand new car.
Oh my
pulled
goodness!
The top of the car up to get at the food.
Well, you know what they say, Suzette. You just have to make sure that you explain to Ray that you don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun him.
Yeah. I need him to pay the bills, though.
So listen, when we come back, we're going to talk some more about Sequoia National Park, and I want to, and I want to ask you if you guys actually took a picnic lunch with you and that kind of stuff, and we'll find all that out when we come back from this brief message. Don't go away. We'll be right back with our own Suzette Mailer with her IFAB Travel Corner. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show. And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking to our own Suzette Mailer with her IFAB Travel Corner. And we are in the beautiful Sequoia National Park. And when we left, Suzette, I was asking if you and Ray actually, and Elisa, took a picnic lunch to have a picnic there in the middle of that magnificence. That's all I can say about it. It's just magnificence.
No.
Did you not eat?
We ate, but we did not have a picnic.
So are there restaurants? You know, when I went through the Sequoias, and I have to admit, it was many, many, many years ago. There weren't a lot of restaurants near there that you could sit down and have lunch and then continue your little excursion.
not much has changed. It's all packaged in plastic, and they're selling plastic bottles of water, and you can get pizzas there. I hear the pizzas are pretty good, but nope, not much. I guess buy your lunch at the bottom of the mountain, or just eat what they have. So.
Yeah,
there's your answer.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So did the three of you actually? No, I guess you didn't. You already said that because you were worried about bears. I was going to ask a redundant question, and that is did you actually walk up any trails? But I guess
we
would have to be fearful of the wildlife.
Busy trails with people, and Ray would have loved to hike, but I don't know why we didn't. Oh, well, we had a dog. We brought our dog, so you can't take the dog into everything, but we hiked to Sherman's Tree and what are some other places out there? We have General Grant's Tree. You have the Giant Forest. So you have little hikes through there. They're pretty easy, and then you have the John Muir style hikes. I know in Yosemite. We met some people who hike that for maybe 2 months every year. They're up and they camp up, and you have to have special permits to do that. But you can really do some hiking up there, and I bet it's just beautiful.
Yeah, I'll bet it is.
Let's see, what else can I share with you? I guess you can't talk about the Sequoia National Park without mentioning John Muir, right? He's a well-known name in the Sequoia National Parks. John was born in 1838 and died in 1914. He's a famous author, naturalist, environmentalist, and advocate for preserving the forest. And John Muir petitioned the U.S. Congress for the National Park Bill that was passed in 1890, and that established Yosemite and Sequoia National Parks. So we're terribly grateful to him.
Were they both established at the same time?
I believe so. It's what it says here. So today he's referred to as the father of the national parks, and Muir threw himself into the preservationist role with great vigor. He envisioned the Yosemite area and the Sierra as pristine lands, and he thought the greatest threat to the Yosemite area and the Sierra was domesticated livestock. But you know what I think is the greatest threat to the area?
People.
Plastic. Plastic. Wherever there were people, there was a trail of plastic. Plastic water bottle caps.
So not to get you off into a different subject, but that's also the same problem we're having with our oceans, isn't it?
It absolutely is. We have what we're seeing up there. We're seeing buried into the sand here in the oceans, floating in the oceans. Listen to this: clear plastic straw wrappers from juicy boxes. We just, for convenience, we go into the store and we grab those juice boxes and we pass them out to our kids, and then those wrappers blow in the wind. Corners of chip bags and candy wrappers, trapped by a beautiful spring flower. Trash all along the trails where humans were allowed to walk. It really was amazing. It's a testimony to our carelessness and sense of entitlement. And I just, it's apathy. It is gross apathy. And when the snows come and they melt, it'll clean up our mess for us. The snow melt carries our debris into the rivers where animals feed. And same for, our oceans. When we allow trash to migrate from, our parking lots into the gutter, it goes down the storm drain and goes into the ocean, and the fish eat it. It's, there was a whale that washed up, died in the Central Coast, and they did an autopsy and cut his stomach open. 250 pounds of plastic, mostly Mylar balloons.
Oh, gee.
I mean, that's painful.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine how that animal suffered?
Yeah. I mean, just they think 30% of they estimate 30% of sea life have plastic in their bellies, but what's interesting? I was wondering why humans are apathetic about litter, let alone making changes to counter the effects of carbon emissions.
Well, I wonder why humans are apathetic about everything.
They're everything, politics. So I Googled the question, why are humans apathetic? And The Guardian had an interesting article. And this is really interesting, Robert. Thanks to decades of collaboration by neuroscientists and psychologists, bolstered by the advent of imaging technologies, which allows them to see exactly how the brain makes choices, they were beginning to understand just why people behave so irrationally. I mean, it's irrational to keep littering. It's irrational to, not do something about carbon emissions. And part of the reason, according to these studies, is that for the human brain, climate change simply does not compute. Littering doesn't compute. For one thing, human brains aren't wired to respond easily to large, slow-moving threats. Our brain is essentially a get-out-of-the-way machine. This is Daniel Gilbert, a professor of psychology at Harvard, best known for his research into happiness. So that's why we can duck a baseball in milliseconds. The threats that develop over decades rather than seconds circumvent the brain's alarm system. We cannot register it. Humans are, if somebody grabs your purse and runs, even though you might have only $1 in it, you will run after that purse. But if you can save money in the long run, you won't do it. You won't participate in it. You're more apt to chase down that dollar in the purse than to maybe wait for interest to not that interest is of any help these days, but to increase your income. But so what they said, let's see, we do not respond to doomsday messages. They tend to fail across the board. What works better to reach people and to get them past the apathy is to use status and metrics and friendly competition. One scientist wrote, carbon footprints have been useful because people can improve. You can actually have a positive trajectory and feel good about that. Then you can compete. Everybody likes to have that smiley face. No one likes to have that frowny face. In more rational environments, you need metrics. Metrics focusing on our attention on these longer time horizon outcomes and goals is what we need because we naturally focus on the here and now, and that's so we need to promote that. So that's very interesting insight, and I think it'll help the nonprofits with reaching people. And so, what do you think about that?
No, I think you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a psychological thing. I was very frustrated with people. I don't understand the apathy. I am completely awake and to what's happening with global, with climate change and littering in the ocean. I am very much awake to that and actualized, and it's pretty scary to watch my fellow men just continue to walk past litter and not bend over to pick it up.
Yeah.
Or to let their children or their grandchildren open a juicy box and just let the straw fly and the juicy box fall on the ground, and they just turn a blind eye, and so hopefully like the seatbelt law. Remember the seatbelt law? We all hemmed and hawed. Why do we have to do this? But the psychology of that has changed today. It is we would never dream of not buckling our children up, or wouldn't dream of not buckling ourselves up. So, that's what I hold my hope for in the future, that we look at pollution that way.
I would hope that society in general at some point would appreciate this planet that we have been given custody of, not the right to ruin, but given custody of, that even the garbage and the trash on the sides of the road, if I'm in an area where if I see something on the ground, I'll pick it up and throw it in the trash can. I don't know. I don't understand why people don't do that. Do they have no pride in their environment? I just don't understand people that dump their garbage or throw their garbage on the floor to ruin the environment for the rest of society.
I don't understand. But you know what? There are those people, and we need to circle the wagons around them by picking up after them, even though it's not our trash. Pick it up. If everybody, if you know, thousands and thousands of us just bent over and picked up a couple of pieces a day, we wouldn't have trash on the ground. We can circle the wagons around the people who are just asleep to what they do.
You know,
They're
Suzette, it would be just, you know,
people,
you've seen that movie,
asleep.
Have you seen the movie Pay It Forward? I think that's exactly what would happen if people started picking up trash, you know, rather than throwing it on the ground, that more and more people would notice it, they'd see it, they'd become aware of it, and not only would they pick it up and throw it in the trash and have it noticed that they did that, but then more and more people, when they saw people discarding this trash where it shouldn't be, might get vocal and say, hey, throw your garbage in your own backyard. Don't throw it on our planet.
Right, yeah. So, but you know, in the vein of circling the wagons, Robert,
Mm-hmm.
I also think that we need to change our laws. We need to get the littering laws back, and you know, we should do a show about that sometime, because the city of Los Angeles has a pilot program going right now where they've taken the see if I can't even say this, but they've the small tickets like the riding bikes on sidewalks, all that has been taken away from the criminal system and it's been moved over to the city attorney's office. So you go to this. So now they're not clogging up the court systems with these little, small tickets where the judges just throw them out because they just don't have time to deal with it. And
they're
because
nuisance.
they just throw them out, the police stopped writing tickets. But now they've moved it over to the city attorney's office, and that's where people go to pay their ticket. It's no longer a it's not a criminal. What are the two criminal? It's no longer
It's a civil issue. It's not
civil,
criminal,
but
it's civil.
No, it's not. I think it's a civil issue at this point, but the two criminal terms are if you're arrested, it's a misdemeanor. It's no longer a misdemeanor.
Oh, I see.
And so the city attorney can pursue payment of that ticket. And so I'm watching that. The police are not writing tickets for littering, but it's my hope that they do include that. And I hope to speak with the city of Long Beach about implementing a program like that. And other people should study. If you have a city and you have a trash problem in your city, do some research on the city of LA. If you have any influence, try to implement a program where you take the ticketing away from the courts and move it over to your city attorney's office. And it's a great source of revenue. That's what they're studying, to see if they can increase revenue. And I think they can. So here we are.
Yep. You know what? Great show. I really enjoyed it. What do you have planned for next week, Suzette?
I haven't the slightest idea.
Well, let's just surprise everybody.
But it'll be good.
I know it will, because you are. Have a wonderful evening. Take care. Stay safe, and say hello to the family for me, will you?
And thank you so much, Robert.
Oh, and thank you. Bye-bye. Now, don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to be dealing with the birthdays today, the secret teachings of your life, the Harvard Business Tip of the Day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back. Don't go away. If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, you know what today is, right? July the 7th, and it's somebody's birthday. And you know what? This person was born in 1922, a French fashion designer known for his avant-garde style and his space-age designs. Happy birthday to Pierre Cardin. And here's somebody born in 1946, an actor best known for his Emmy-nominated detective role on Hill Street Blues. Happy birthday to Joe Spano. And finally, she was born in 1980, a figure skater who has won 9 U.S. championships, 5 world championships, and 2 Olympic medals. Happy birthday, Michelle Kwan. And what happened today in history? Well, you know, in 1928, sliced bread is sold for the very first time by the Chillicothe Baking Company of Chillicothe, Missouri. It is described as the greatest forward step in the baking industry since bread was wrapped. And in 2005, a series of 4 terrorist explosions occur on London's transport system, killing 56 people, including 4 suicide bombers. I don't feel so bad for the suicide bombers. I do feel bad for the 56 people. Or actually, I should actually say 52 people. The other 4 I don't care about. Well, our quote for today comes from Herbert Rappaport, and Herbert says, "I hope that while so many people are out smelling the flowers, someone is taking the time to plant some." Now that's profound, I would say. Well, you've heard me talk about it. It's time for that secret daily teachings for your life. This is all about a positive mental attitude. I swear to you, if you have a positive mental attitude, you will always come out on head, and so will everyone whose lives you touch. So you know what? The secret for today is if you're complaining, the law of attraction will powerfully bring into your life more situations for you to complain about. If you're listening to someone else complain and focusing on that, sympathizing with them, agreeing with them, in that moment, you are attracting more complaining situations to yourself. Get rid of it. Keep a positive mental attitude. You know what we're talking about. You know how to make your life better. You get up in the morning, you know you're going to have a good day. Guess what? You're going to have a good day. Now, let's talk about that Harvard business tip of the day. And the management tip today is
do not sugarcoat bad news for your employees. You know, the way you deliver bad news greatly affects whether employees are going to accept it. You have to be direct and avoid mixed messages. Watch your body language to make sure that your nonverbal cues aren't implying something different from what you're saying. So, for example, if the news presents an obvious setback for everyone, you need to confidently convey the information and leave no room for interpretation, which means no confusing signals like slumping shoulders, avoiding eye contact, or fidgeting. It helps to rehearse what you're going to say with a friend who can give you feedback on how you appear. And while you want to be thoughtful and caring, don't sugarcoat the news. This makes it more difficult for people to digest the information. Instead, focus on the decision and explain clearly why it's happening. You know what? That should just be a life lesson for you. That's what you should be doing all the time. Well, it's time for those interesting but useless facts. You know what? I love this part of the show. At first, it was kind of questionable for me, but now it's gotten to be a part of the show that I look forward to. So let's get right to it. Did you know that the first fact is castor oil is used as a lubricant in jet planes? And you know what else, right? Of course you do. Now, did you know that it took 20,000 men 22 years to build the Taj Mahal in India? That's a lot of labor. How about this? And they weren't making minimum wage the way we think about it today. Did you know that New York City has 570 miles of shoreline? New York City. And there are 1,355,000 plus or minus 1,000 or so monoliths on Jupiter in 2010, a space odyssey. Think of that. Now, did you know that Coca-Cola's super pure Dasani water, bottled water, is just filtered tap water? You could do it yourself. Save a lot of money. And here's one for you. Strawberries have more vitamin C than oranges do. Get that one. Holy mackerel. You know what? We were talking to Sean earlier about that kind of stuff. Did you know the song Happy Birthday, the one we started this segment with, Happy Birthday to You, was originally written by sisters Mildred and Patty Hill as Good Morning to You. The words were changed and it was published in 1935. And, you know, the first translation of the English Bible was initiated by John Wycliffe and completed by John Purvey in 1388. Now, give that some thought. Well, give it some thought. Let's see here. How about this? The cost of raising a medium-sized dog to the age of 11, you ready for this? $6,400. A whole lot less than raising a child to the age of 11. I can give you that. Did you know that in Arkansas, it's illegal to buy or sell blue light bulbs? Huh. Some of these laws that we run into are just absolutely ridiculous. How about this one? Humans are the only animals that use a smile as an emotional response. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? Did you know that the full name of Harriet Beecher Stowe's novel Uncle Tom's Cabin is actually Uncle Tom's Cabin or Life Among the Lowly? There you go. How about this one? A group of Fitches is called a char. Who cares? Here's one for you. Each king in a deck of playing cards represents a great king from history. Spades, king. David, clubs. Alexander the Great, hearts. Charlemagne in diamonds. And Julius Caesar. Yep, there we go. And how about this one? Australian termites have been known to build mounds 20 feet high and at least 100 feet wide. And then, finally, a human's mucous membrane used to smell is the size of a postage stamp. And with that, Do not go away. When we come back, I'm going to answer your emails. The first one up is actually from Aaron Kwan from Grisham, Oregon. He's asking about the treatment of gold, and I'll answer all of that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 5:52 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 84 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, that's down from 88 degrees on its way to 60 degrees. I can't hardly wait to get there, turn on my air conditioner when that happens. But you know what? We're coming down to the wire. It's time for us to get to our emails. I want to remind you that we try to answer your emails as comprehensively as we can, but understandably, when we get these emails, they're a little sketchy sometimes, so we do the best we can. But we're always going to recommend that you consider talking to a licensed professional. It's a lot of reasons for that. One is going to give you peace of mind, and two, they're going to be responsible for the answer they give you. One of the conditions of their licensing is that they maintain errors and omissions insurance. So if they make a mistake, they pay the piper, not you, and they're insured for it. That lets you sleep at night, and that lets you not worry about somebody tapping you on the shoulder or sending you a registered letter or making that phone call. You get to actually relax. That's worth it. They're always going to cost you less money than they save you, or they're always going to cost you less money. They're going to save you more money than they cost you. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, first email today comes up from Aaron Kwan from Grisham, Oregon, asking about tax treatment of gold. And he writes, I want to buy gold as a safe investment, but I've been told that it doesn't qualify for capital gains treatment. Is this true? Well, Aaron, gold bullion is a collectible upon which the top long-term capital gains tax is, the rate is 28% instead of the normal 15%. Now, the same tax rate applies to gold coins and exchange-traded funds, a form of trading a tradable security that track the price of gold. Now, you can still profit from gold at that 15% long-term capital gain rate by investing in gold mining companies or in mutual funds that specialize in holding the stock of such companies. Now, capital gains realized on their shares is taxed like that on any other corporate shares, but their share prices are highly correlated with the price of gold. And I think then you get the best of both worlds, and that'll solve your problem for you. Next email comes from Faith Lawless, and Faith is writing me from Cortland, New York, about gifts of tuition, and writes, my grandson is about to go to college where an annual tuition is well over $12,000 or $13,000. They're trying to get to the gift rate here. If I pay it for him, will I be making a taxable gift? And the thing is, Faith, the answer is no, not if you make the payment directly to the college. Generally, gifts exceeding the annual gift tax exempt amount of $13,000 per year per giver to any one recipient must be reported by the giver on a gift tax return. But payments made on behalf of an individual directly to an educational or medical institution are not deemed to be gifts to the individual and are tax exempt. In fact, you can make them in any amount on behalf of the individual and still give that individual an additional $13,000 tax-free. So write that tuition check directly to the college instead of giving the money to your grandchild, and you're going to wind up being a whole lot better off. Well, next email comes from Caton Mason, and Caton is writing me from Colts Neck, New Jersey, asking about posthumous income, and writes, let's see here, it says, my mother died, and I prepared a joint return for that year that her husband signed for their taxes. Then, for the next year, I received a 1099 for my mother's reporting several $1,000s of income to her. Her husband filed a single return for that year. So, how do I report this? Well, you know what? Here's the thing, Caton. If the income was from a bank or investment account that her husband or another person inherited through joint ownership or an account beneficiary designation, that person is going to owe the tax on it. Now, if the income was paid to your mother's estate and then distributed by will or by state law, consult the executor or administrator of the estate. Ask the issuer of the 1099 to, in the future, send 1099s that name the proper recipient. And that should take care of your problem once and for all, or hopefully it will anyway. And my last email today comes from Alexander Menezes, and he's writing from Oceanside, California, asking about inherited property basis. And he writes, inherited property gets stepped-up basis equal to its market value when it has appreciated in value. But if it has fallen in value, does it get stepped-down basis? That's a great question, Alexander. And the answer to your question is yes, it does. When the owner of a property dies, the property's basis is its cost for tax purposes from which gain or loss on its sale is determined becomes its market value at the owner's death. If the property has appreciated in value, the basis is stepped up to its appreciated market value, and taxable gain on appreciation to that date is eliminated. But if the property has fallen in value, basis is correspondingly reduced, and deductible capital loss is eliminated. So the strategy here is hold appreciated property until death to bequeath it to your heirs. Sell lost property before death to get that deductible capital loss. You'll be glad you did that. I can guarantee you. Hopefully that's answered all your questions, made your life easier. Just remember, always, always, always consult a licensed professional. You'll be glad you did. They're going to give you the right answer for your situation. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. I also broadcast on Roar 1776 Radio and Live 365 Radio every Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. On my next show, my expert contributor is going to be, tomorrow's going to be Wednesday. It's going to be Ray Mailer with the American Grid. And we'll also be talking to, I'm not sure who... we'll be talking to Joel Saltzman, and we'll be talking about wireless technology, so you don't want to miss any of that. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza. Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. In the meantime, stay safe, stay happy, be good, and good night, everybody.